Until recently, students have not had access to personal technologies in the classroom. I believe that it is a violation of a student's right to prohibit both students having possession of personal electronics and them using said devices for school assignments. A middle or high school student should be able to possess their own devices as well as use them throughout the day at their school. Some examples of a personal device would be a tablet, laptop, or cell phone. Hi, I'm Anna Taylor, a current Human Communication course student examining the importance of students having access to personal technologies in the classroom. I recently had the privilege of attending a high school that allowed me to bring my own electronic devices at the school nearly every day. I believe this significantly impacted my education. By the end of the speech, I'm hoping you will all believe that middle and high school students should have the right to keep and use personal electronic devices in the classroom throughout the school day. Personal devices should be used for classwork or note-taking only while the student is in class, and I have some ideas on how to regulate the usage of these devices in an academic environment. Technology should be an aid in a student's education, and they should not be denied the capability of research and completing online assignments. First, I will explain which students specifically should be allowed to bring and access their personal electronic devices. I believe that middle and high school students should be allowed to do so. The majority of parents consider getting their child a smartphone when they are between the ages of 10 and 12, which is when that child has gained some sense of maturity and responsibility. Based on a 2010 survey by the Kaiser Family Foundation, around 69% of children between 11 and 14 years of age have cell phones, and about 85% of teenagers aged 14 to 17 will have them. Children and teens in the age range of 11 to 18 generally have enough responsibility to keep track of their cell phone or tablet without needing a teacher to be in charge of the whereabouts of the devices. However, the majority of students under the age of 11 do not have enough responsibility or maturity to bring these devices to school. Lack of accountability is the main reason I don't recommend elementary school students bringing personal electronics into the classroom. Students between this age range of 11 to 18 should be more mature about using the devices when they're instructed to do so. They also won't need as much additional help with online assignments from the teacher. Next, I will be addressing what specific devices these students need access to. Essentially, a student needs access to any device that can connect to school Wi-Fi or access the internet. These devices will include smartphones, tablets, and laptops. These technologies should be helpful, not harmful, to a student's education. In fact, some teachers see the phones as an asset and actually incorporate phone use as part of their lessons. These devices also allow the students to get on the internet, whether it be to work on a group project, take notes during class, or complete stations or other class assignments. Having access to these online resources could help a student complete work ahead of time, look up questions, or get homework done early if allotted extra working time. Additionally, I will be explaining why it is paramount for students to have access to these technologies while on the school premises. When students feel happy and trusted, they perform better academically and feel more comfortable in the learning environment. According to a study done by Christina Hinton, she found that from elementary school to high school, happiness is positively correlated with motivation and academic achievement. If a teacher trusts their students to be responsible with a personal device, then that is fostering a trusting relationship between the students and the teacher. This helps to improve a student's happiness and increase the motivation in a positive learning environment. Happiness is predicted by student satisfaction with school culture and relationships with teachers and peers. The study by Hinton also supports that the higher levels of happiness and enjoyment a student feels, the more likely their GPA will be higher. It is very important to keep students happy and trusted in the classroom because they will feel more open to learning and academic achievements. Furthermore, I will be addressing a few methods on how to have technology in classes with as minimal amounts of distraction as possible. I think that in order to lessen cell phones and other technologies as distractions, there should be a few regulations on when students can access them and where they are kept during instruction times. Although technology can be a helpful educational resource, there are times when it needs to be out of sight and out of mind during tests and quizzes. Even those who favor cell phone use in the classroom acknowledge those times, however, when phones ought to be put away or even collected by teachers, no questions asked. Teachers can implement their own places where students can keep their phones when they aren't using them for class. For instance, a teacher could use small cubbies or pouches for their students' phones. Teachers could also tell students to keep their phones in their book bags unless instructed otherwise. In order to have cell phones in the classroom be a blessing rather than a curse, a few extra rules and thought will need to be put into developing technology policies in schools. However, it will be well worth it for the much needed technological resources that can help students' educations. Finally, technology must be incorporated in our classrooms because it is becoming more prevalent in our society. Technology is not something that will simply just go away. It is crucial that the youth is familiar with it and can use it with ease. For instance, we used to write papers. Now the majority of students type them. We used to have phones that could only call and text. Now phones can access the internet and even start cars. Technology will keep evolving and becoming a more significant aspect in our everyday lives, and this applies to schools and businesses as well. These students are our next generation, and they need to be prepared for technology being incorporated in their future everyday lives. The more exposed the younger generations are to technology, the more likely they will be successful as a part of the future labor force. You should now be aware of which students need access to personal devices in the classroom, what kind of devices they need access to, why this is important to their strive in education and mental health, and how to implement some restrictions on when and where personal devices can be used, and also just how important technology will be in their future lives. Nearly everyone has a smartphone nowadays, and it can be a tremendous help and vital resource, or a distraction. However, if used for the right reasons, it can be a large contributor to furthering a child or teenager's knowledge. Students ought to have the right to use a helpful resource in their personal education. Overall, a more trusted, responsible, educated, and happy youth can help further our strive in learning and mental health improvement. Thank you for your time.